Can you feel the static in the air tonight? We're turning up the volume, burning twice as bright. From the east to the west, we're the voice you know and trust. Building up a community from the passion and the dust. It's the heartbeat of the nation, yeah, we're louder than before. Get ready for the action, always wanting something more. This is VOC Nation, everybody screaming loud. This is VOC Nation, standing out from the whole crowd.
Everyone, once again, to guys here, as always. Thank you guys for all the support, thoughts, and prayers. I'm working really hard to give back to good health, and please keep coming. I always keep you guys in my thoughts and prayers as well. Tonight, special guest will be here momentarily. Will be wrestling legend Doug Masters will be joining us. So looking forward to having my wrestling brother here to talk with us here in WCW Retro. And just a reminder, enjoy all the great podcasts we got here on VOCNation.com throughout the week. And everything on me, Meister upcoming news, appearances where you can donate, on my social media platforms, everything's just my name. Our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com. Doug.
Hey, brother, I can't hear you.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're fading in and out. But yeah, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you been?
Not bad, man. It's hot out here in Oklahoma. Just trying to stay cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. This heat wave's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Goodness gracious. How things going out there in Oklahoma?
It's going pretty good, man. I've been on a few podcasts, just trying to stay cool, take it easy, man, and trying to get my name out there again for nobody to forget about me.
Oh, that's great, man. Shoot. I got family out that way from Oklahoma.
What part?
Yeah. Tulsa.
That's where I live at, in Tulsa.
Oh, wow. Small world, right?
Yeah, small world, brother. Yeah. I've lived here on my life. I always had my homestead in Tulsa. So years I'd be on the road, but I always come back to Oklahoma as my home. So.
Oh, fantastic, man. Fantastic. My grandpa used to have a horse ranch out there.
Oh, did he? Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. He tried going up to Missouri, but he ended up coming back to Oklahoma because, it was too rough on his cattle up in Missouri, so he went back to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I understand. Rough terrain up there in that state.
Yeah, good times. Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, God, man, you have so much history in the business and everything. Let's start from the early days, man. You what was like the toughest lesson you used to help?
Out? I can't hear you, brother. What'd you say?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to ask, and you've had a lot of history in the business. In the early days, what was the toughest lesson that you learned from Mike George or Tommy Gilbert when you were starting out?
So was learn how to get heat and learn how to sell good. They always taught you sometimes there's too much selling and sometimes not enough. Plus getting the right kind of heat, there's all kinds of heat. There's that quiet heat and that cheering heat, but yeah, that's two things they taught me that was the hardest thing to learn. But and probably kayfabe too. After a while, you don't get used to it until you're used to doing it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's and boy, that's so lost in translation these days, right?
Yeah, brother. I don't know. I told somebody kayfabe before, and he said, "What's that?" I said, "What kind of sandwich is that?" He said, and I said, "Man, you're wrong way to know what you're doing, man."
Right? Oh man, goodness gracious. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, I mean, the newer generation really don't understand. Back in their our day and our time that I mean that was the business was our bread and butter. We had to protect it at all costs.
Yes, sir.
And if we didn't protect it, we wouldn't eat, right?
That's true, brother. Yeah, I mean, I've been using kayfabe all my career, and I still preach it to these young guys nowadays. Kayfabe, I mean, don't be riding together to the towns. Don't go out and eat or do nothing like that. Back in when Bill Ross was running Oklahoma, if you didn't kayfabe, you got fired. So it needs to be strict like that again. Nobody takes it serious anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It's things that would slide today. Like if you would try, not even a little bit of that back in the day, that'd be it.
Yeah, I know. That's it, brother. You're right there.
Oh man. Oh goodness. So I mean, did how was your first year in being in the business? I mean, I'm sure it was a real eye opener. Especially
Oh,
going to the different territories and all that.
Oh yeah, it was rough. All our road trips and stuff. When I was trained by Tommy Gilbert and Mike George, they sent me my first territory I worked was world class down in Dallas, Texas at the Sportatorium.
Oh wow.
I worked for Fritz. Akbar was book Skandar Akbar was booking, so they got me booked with them, and I think I was enhancement talent as one down there because I had the first match with Mick Foley when he did the Cactus Jack character, and I had the first match with Undertaker when he did the Texas Punisher character. So I worked in when they was first getting their characters going and stuff like that. And we'd run Friday nights at Sportatorium, and on Saturday mornings we'd do TV. So we just made it there for TV. We drive from Tulsa to Dallas every morning because TV was at 8 o'clock. And that building, Sportatorium, it's been around forever. It didn't have no heating or air conditioner in it. So if
Mm,
they had fans blowing in the summertime to keep you halfway warm, cool, I mean. But in the wintertime, if it got too cold in there, the cameras wouldn't work, so they couldn't shoot TV. I don't know how many times
right.
I've drove all the way down and nobody call you and tell you that. You drive all the way down and they say, well, we're not doing it today. The cameras are froze up. So,
I remember those
yeah, so
days.
that was like a real, I thought, man, is this a real or something or what,
Right.
Nobody ever called me and tell me. I just one day after a couple times they got started calling me, so I think I got my point across when I was down there. But
Right.
I got to work with them two guys starting out and some other guys that were down there, and then we'd run spot shows during the week, house shows, and since they're down in Dallas, their TV stretched all the way to Oklahoma, so their spot shows during the week we'd run Oklahoma towns because their TV made it
Mm,
out that far. So that was pretty
mm.
cool, but we went all over Texas and Oklahoma and just made a living at doing it, or trying to make a living anyway. And the pay was no good at all down there. They paid you $25 for TV and they gave you a check. And there was a liquor store across the street that you had to go cash your check at. And them guys were always saying, "Is this all you make?" And I said, "No,
Mhm.
this is trans. This is trans." I wouldn't tell them that was all I was making. But I just told them this is my
Yeah.
trans check, my trans check. So it got over pretty good there with them. They kind of understood because all the boys was coming there cashing the checks. So,
Uh,
but and then Chris Adams was working there. Chris Adams was, and he started his own wrestling school down there, and that's who trained Stone Cold Steve Austin was Chris Adams, and he had his training school. So he started on about the time Fritz was getting ready to shut down. He started his own wrestling promotion. So I worked with him. Me and Bart Sawyer worked with him, and on his spots or on his shows, and he ran a lot of high schools and stuff like that. But he had some good shows, and he trained us well, and he kept us quite busy, So, but yeah, man, if you didn't like working in the heat, that wasn't a place for you to work down there in the Sportatorium. Them fans only brought so much air, you know what I'm saying? And that was such a famous building down there
right.
that
Absolutely.
anybody, anybody that's been somebody in this business always has wrestled at the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas before. So I thought that was pretty ironic.
Oh man, so much
I got
history,
to,
right?
yeah, I got guys' pictures all on the wall in the manager's room and Booker's office and all that stuff like that. But it was pretty cool. We always used to go up in the crow's nest during the matches. All the boys would go up there and where you didn't have to kayfabe, and all the fans couldn't see you. So we went from watch the matches all the time. But I was there with Bradshaw
Right.
Layfield when JBL, when he's Bradshaw Layfield, I was there with him and he still had that Texas gimmick when he went to New York. And then they put the JBL character on him. So I knew he'd make it somewhere, just the way he could
Yeah.
work and talk and everything. You know, he's a good hand. But
Yeah. I first met JBO down that way, and I mean, I remember him and my dad, because I had my dad with me, right? Now, him and my dad really hit it off. He's
oh,
just a
yeah,
good
that's
guy. He's
cool.
just a good guy, you know.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think he's commentating
Um.
now. He's got his
But
podcast he's doing, but I think he commentates for AAA down in Mexico City. I think
yeah,
he does the
yeah,
commentating. I think he does that now.
yeah. I've been enjoying his commentary on the AAA shows they got going.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always a good
Yeah.
commentator and stuff, so he gets the point
Very,
across. He
very
was a heel. Do what?
smart guy.
Yeah, he really knows his stuff, man, pretty well. And his podcast is pretty good. I've watched that before. He's on Facebook all the time doing it. So, but yeah, man, the Dallas territory was long road trips and not good money. But if you wanted to get experience, that was the territory to work at the time. And then Fritz shut down. That's when remember the USWA when Jarrett bought Fritz out from underneath them, and they come down and they take a bus from Nashville and drive down there on Friday nights to do a show, and then do TV on Saturday mornings, and then go back to Memphis to do their TV, and then do Nashville on Saturday nights. So
Hmm.
they kind of got fed up with that because Jerry got tired of running two promotions. He really didn't have enough people to do that, so he just stick with brought him to the dance with the USWA. So he just stuck with that, and let the Texas territory go ahead and go because there was a lot of independents that started running down there after they Fritz quit.
Right. Right. It's hard to believe now that that Sportatorium isn't around there anymore. Anytime you drive by there, I mean, it's so surreal that you would think would
Yeah,
always, be there.
before they tore it down, Akbar and James Beard went in there and was getting old bricks, just anything from to memory by for memorabilia. They was taking stuff out of the dressing rooms, pictures down. They broke into it one night and took what they could out of there before we got tore down. But yeah, I don't know why it got tore down before. It's just a big field now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. Speaking of Memphis and world class, I mean, what in your view? I mean, what was the similarities and the differences between the two?
No, both territories had long road trips. There was good guys to work for. There was a whole list of guys to work for in USWA. They had a lot of experience. Same way there was. They didn't really have much experience down in world class. They just had guys like Chris Adams, Devon Eric, and Alma Drill, myself, and a couple other guys. I can't forget their names now, but there wasn't as much experience down in Texas territory as there was in the USWA because there they had them guys. You always had a veteran there working against and telling you what not to do and how your match went and how to go take it and tell you how your promos going and stuff like that. But yeah, that territory was just long road trips and everything, but I enjoyed doing it. It was my first territory. I did some enhancement talent, so I kind of didn't want to do that, but it didn't really hurt nothing. I was just starting out, and I usually get DQ'd or something like that, where the finish wouldn't really matter, so who won or lost. So, and from after Fritz shut down, I sent my stuff to Lynn Denton, the grappler. He was booking for Don Owens up in Portland, Oregon, and Portland Wrestling was the name of it. And I sent my stuff up to Lenny. He told me and Bart Sawyer, um, come on up and take a tryout, but he wasn't going to promise us everything. So we're thinking we're going to drive all the way out there and watch us not hire us. But that wasn't the case. We got out there and they hired us and told us to get a place to live because we was hired. And That territory, compare that to Tennessee or Texas. They had short road trips up in Portland. 50 miles one way was the longest drive you had, and you was home by 11:30 at night. So the weather was nice and cool.
Nice.
Just rained a lot. Real nice, cool weather. Fans didn't really mess with you. They were really kind of mellowed out, kicked back there. So they liked heels in Portland. That was a heel territory. They really liked the heels there. But Lenny put me doing commentary. I would never been do commentary before, and Scotty's body, which known now as Raven, he was doing commentary, and he got tired of doing it. So Lenny told me to go out there and do commentary, and I said, "You sure?" And I said, "Yeah." So really like doing that because it got me used to and practice to learn how to talk and learn how to promos and how to deal with people. And between doing commentary and wrestling my own match, I got more TV time than most of the boys did. So, because we had an hour and a half TV program, I was probably on the air for about an hour. So, I really enjoyed that. They gave me a nice tuxedo to wear and stuff like that. And they put advertise it for them after the matches and stuff like that before I get a free tux. But it was a good territory. They had Billy Jack Haynes, Rip Oliver, Crush was up there, Ronnie Don Harris, the Bruise Brothers, the Grappler, Steve Don, Rex King, they were up there. Alma Drill, there was a bunch of legends up there, old timers that knew what they were doing. So it was just good. I liked it about it was the cool weather there was and short road trips.
Oh man, can't beat that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
That's awesome. I know when I was in Memphis, you know, I got really educated to it's a different world, Memphis.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Then see, Don Owens shut down for 2 days a week. His territory was shutting down. What it was Don would do TV. He'd pay you on Saturdays and Sundays, and during the week, Sandy Barr, the referee, was his dad of Art Barr and Jimmy Jack Funk. He would run shows during the week, so he'd pay us during the week on his shows, and Don was paying us for his shows on the weekend. But it was $50 a night guaranteed, and or to 100. And back in that wasn't bad. And Don would make up for it on Saturdays for what money you didn't make during the week. He'd give you 300 or 400 on Saturdays and you did TV to make up for the lost pay you got during the week when the housing wasn't doing that good. So, but we always got paid and everything's all cool and everything. I mean, Don was good to work with. I don't know. He was an announcer, ring announcer for so many years. He was getting up there in age, so sometimes he'd get where you're from mixed up or your name mixed up sometimes when he was introducing you. But he got over it, and kind of next time he'd introduce you the right way and stuff. But he was a real nice guy to work for and everything. So I enjoyed being up there. I certainly being commentary. I enjoyed doing that too. So.
Let me get right. I was going to ask about your time in Puerto Rico with WWC, which I did some tours out there also. I mean, what was your experience like working down there?
You had to watch your back. I left USWA. When I went to USWA, when I got my notice there, I went to Puerto Rico. Eric Embry said, you told me embark because they had the titles on it, straps on in Nashville and USWA. And he said, which one of y'all want to go to Puerto Rico? You both want to go? And I said, I'll go. And Bart didn't want to go because he was kind of scared about what happened to Brody about going down there. And they was having problems getting people to come down there and work because what happened to Brody, everybody was scared, But I went down there, and Dick Murdoch, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch was booking at the time, and down in Puerto Rico, man, I'm telling you, you all know this by now. They pour pee on you and feces on you, and he's so
Man,
take them pop cups, and fill them full of rocks and throw them at you, and spark plugs and batteries. They just was brutal. You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh man, what a crazy territory that place was. Oh,
Yeah,
guys,
we got color.
I know
About
a lot,
every night we got
a lot of boys.
Night we got about every night we got color down there. After a while, you didn't have the juice. Your
Uh
forehead was all juiced up and brittled up. So they really love blood down
huh.
there.
Right.
Yeah, thinking about down there, they said they remember somebody telling us one time that a stabbing in Puerto Rico is like a cold in the back of the United States. It happens all the time. So the newspaper every morning would have people either stabbed or heads decapitated on the front page of the newspaper. So you just had to watch who he's around and be nice to. I learned to be nice to the marks outside of the ring, have respect
Mm-hmm.
for him, and I never got messed with. You know, I'd get my character over and get heat when I was in the ring, but as far as outside the ring, I wouldn't mess with them or cuss them or degrade them or nothing. You know, and they come around want an autograph for once in a while, but I just respected them that way. I wouldn't worry about getting in trouble. There's one story I remember. Victor Quiones was running opposition down there, and Manny Fernandez was working for him. There was these guys doing construction, was down in the ditch, digging a ditch. He started cussing one of them. That guy come out of that ditch with a shovel and started beating him in the back with it. That was funnier than hell, man. Yeah, he didn't know him to keep his mouth shut. Yeah, Murdoch said, I told you to keep your mouth shut. That's what's going to happen. We all dying up laughing. And said, you sure that's all you got? But he learned the hard way not to back talk them people down there. So I don't know. He was an old time, a veteran. I don't know. He didn't know any better. He'd been down there before, but
Mhm.
they put the straps on me and Ron Starr. They brought in Ron Starr to be my partner, and I
Ron
asked
Starr.
Dick, how come you can't get nobody here? And he goes, well, I'm gonna bring him in because he's got more experience than you got. You just maybe needed, as far as tag wrestling, I just needed a little bit more guidance, a little bit more work. So he taught me how to do certain spots, tag team spots, and how to do a promo and when to get heat, when not to get heat. So they put in our straps, and we got over pretty
Awesome.
good. We was working this. They brought the Southern Rockers in, Steve Dahl and Rex King. They brought them in to work angles against us, and plus we worked in a local tag team down there. And they kept us busy doing that, but we did an angle with the Southern Rockers, and instead of just carrying the straps all the time and never getting beat for them, we would drop them every other week in a different town. That way it looked competitive and everything. Like we was really wanting that title, you know. So we drop them every other week in certain towns. That way they'd come out and goes, well, are they going to be champions this week or not? So kind of made it kind of a surprise to the fans what we was going to do and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty hardcore down there and everything. Abby would come there on the weekends to work during the week. He wouldn't work during the week. He just work on the weekends, the main shows, and he owned 5% of that island. Him and Carlos and Joe Fica and Victor Hamless, they were in partners, had their money invested in the company, so he was making 5% whether he wrestled or not. But he always sold out
Mm.
the arenas because you remember as I do, we used to wrestle on baseball diamonds most of the time outdoors.
Right.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, and that's when they really get you out there walking to the dugout. That they had that little aisle down there. That way you get back to the dressing room, and the people will be standing above it, just throwing stuff at you, man. I'm telling you, it was
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
You
Brutal.
remember that? You remember
Yes. Yes.
that?
The old spark plugs, whatever they get their hands on. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. They
sir.
did anything they get
Unbelievable.
their hands on, and them kids really know how to throw them empty pop cups and soft drink cups full of rocks. They really know how to. I thought it was kind of funny. A couple of times they'd
Oh
miss me and hit the
man.
referee. They'd hit the referee, and then I just take the gimmick up and whatever I had, I'd get some heat with the baby face with it, and that really pissed the people off. And me using their gimmicks, they throw at me and stuff. It was funny when they hit the referee. I couldn't keep from half laughing, you know, because he was always laughing when we got hit. So, but sometimes they just hit the wrong person. Most of the time, it was right on the spot. They knew
Oh
what to
man.
do and where to throw it at, and but it was long. You know, the main event's the fourth match down there, so there was a lot of times we was on last, and we wouldn't go in the ring till about midnight. Remember that long shows?
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in the ring sometimes
To
till
take
midnight
forever.
down there.
Yes.
Yeah, there was really long shows down there. The intermission would last almost an hour. I don't know why, but I guess trying to sell all them food and popcorn and pops and beer they could sell. But see that island, that company's run off the mafia down there. So that's who got Jose
Mm,
when he went to court for the deal what happened with Brody and Vader. Jose Gonzalez, that's wwho got him out of jail was the mafia, because he had a big bond on him. So he didn't even spend no time in jail. But yeah,
mm,
everybody was scared to go down there, and all the Americans wasn't going down there and stuff. And that's how they draw their monies off Americans. So they'll have some Americans go down there that are baby
mm.
faces, but most of the time you're a heel when you go down there. So
Right. Right. Who? Speaking of, who was like some of the boys that you've been in the ring with that really brought out the best in your matches?
oh, Steve Don Rex Sting, they'd bring me out. Ricky Santana was another one that was down there. I don't know if you're Ricky or not, but he was another guy that was down there. Him and Fidel Sierra.
Oh yeah,
Ricky
Ricky.
would bring,
Yo, sure do.
yeah, Ricky would
Fidel,
bring out
great
the
guy,
best
man.
in me, man. Yeah, Ricky would bring out the best in me. We had a lot of matches together at singles before they brought in my partner, and most after that we just tagged together. That Rip Oliver up in Portland, he brought out the best in me. Him being an old timer, he really knew how to do it. So there's been a Scotty the Body, now best known now as Raven. We had some good matches up in Portland, and he brought out the best. I mean, I probably brought out the best in him. So he went on to be Raven. So he didn't like the Scotty the Body gimmick. So he got the good gimmick now, being Raven. Look at his own documentary now and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And talking about guy that's got his head together. I mean, he was very smart. Raven was.
Yeah, Vince gave him off. He wanted him, gave him an office job. He was commentary then, and they wanted him to work in the office, but he didn't want to. He turned that down. He wanted to wrestle, so he quit there and went to ECW. So that he didn't really want to be part of the office as far as working, being in the office. He wanted to wrestle and be on the road, you know.
Oh yeah, man. Uh, gosh. I mean, you're being working in the different territories is such a lost art, and I wish more of the boys and girls in the business today should have that experience.
Yeah, it was something back then, wasn't it? You get done and get your notice in one territory, and you was already hired in another one before you even got your notice of the territory you's in. That's how good the territories
Right?
were. Every state had one, you know, and then Vince come in and bought everybody. But yeah, territories where it was at, you know, territory days. There's some documentaries about the territories on YouTube I watch every once in a while, the different territories they were. I think that's pretty interesting, who all was working them and how long they last and what cities and towns they was working. But yeah, Puerto Rico, the thing about down there, traffic jam was bad all the time. Remember that? The island's 100 miles
Oh
long,
yes,
35 miles wide, and the traffic jam,
yes.
24 hours a day, it's never lets up. You know what I mean? And remember,
And the,
remember that they
the
wouldn't let the ambulances pull over at the side of the road. They wouldn't let them in the passing lane. They would just get in that and stay drive on the shoulder, not let the ambulances through there or nothing like that.
yeah.
They just had no respect for nobody, did they?
No, no. The emergency lane was the third lane, basically.
That's it, brother. That's it. So I don't see how many we've driven that lane once in a while, but I rode to the towns. I rode with Murdoch most of the time, and he always wanted to drive. He wouldn't let anybody else drive. So he wanted to drive all the time, and he did pretty good compared to being around them Puerto Ricans, how they drove and everything. There was at the stoplights, there was always somebody from the hood down there wanting to wash your windows for some
Yeah.
drug money, you know what I mean? So you know what
Yep.
they're going to get with it. It was right across the street from the hood, so you know what they was going to do with it. But yeah, it was
Oh yeah.
always somebody watching. Yeah, that's the only territory I really worked at. When I got off the airplane, there were people there trying to sell you drugs before you even got to the town or checked in with the office, man. They was wanting to get your business right there at the airport. So
Oh gosh, it was like black market pharmacy basically.
Yeah, you're right, brother. You get anything you want down there, you just then they got to know you, who you were, and everything. So they it was just a different territory. Now you got a lot of experience down there. Certainly, I know when I was down there, most of the guys, some of the guys couldn't speak very good English. So what we had to do was, in order to get it to the baby face, I had to tell the referee the spot, and he'd translate it in Spanish to them other guys. And I was always saying, well, I hope he didn't mess up the spot. I hope he told him what I told him. Sometimes they would mess up the spot, and they wouldn't tell him exactly what you was telling them. So the only
Hmm.
Spanish words I ever learned was the cuss words down there. It's the only Spanish words I ever learned. So from being cussed all the time in the ring, so I didn't know Spanish that well, so I kind of picked up on some of the sayings, the cuss words, and a few things just to get me by and stuff down there if I was ordering food or something like that. But it was just I remember Carlos used to invite us over at Thanksgiving and Christmas to have dinner and everything. So that was pretty cool. It was an honor to me to get to go to his house and see his family and everything and bring him into his home to have dinner and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. But
And
that was
isn't
his.
it weird? Isn't it weird, like having Thanksgiving there, watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, everybody's in coats and everything, and you're there. It's like summertime weather all year round there in Puerto
Yeah, I
Rico,
know. It's humid. I know it rained every morning at 10 o'clock and then it got hot the rest of the day. Man, it was miserable.
right?
Till the sun went down and had that cool breeze off the ocean blowing in. Because we had an office. Remember the Dahlia, the motel called the Dahlia, that pink building?
Yeah, I stayed there. Yeah,
I stayed there too. Before when I first went down there, I stayed with Dick Murdoch. The office had him and Randy Rose. They had him
yeah.
they had him a apartment that the office paid for, so I'd stay in it. But it was too crowded after a while, so I just went to the Dahlia and stuff, and they just take it out of your checks. But I remember that building. It was an old building, and everybody stayed there. I think they had a group rate or something there with Carlos and them, because I know everybody stayed there when they come into town.
Hmm. Wow, man. Well, I have to ask. I know a lot of us got. I've got a few of them, but what's been some of your craziest road stories that you would like to share?
Oh, I remember one trip in Puerto Rico. Murdoch was driving, the car was full. We went to the stoplight, and all of a sudden, this guy behind us jumps out of the trunk of the car, comes to the window, asked Murdoch to roll down the window, and he did. And the guy that was in the car with us, translating English for us, he said he'd been kidnapped. They was going to take his head off, and he was wanting a way to get out of there because he didn't want to be kidnapped. Well,
Wow.
Murdoch was listening to him spill his guts, and while they were translating English to us, Murdoch had them short little jabs he always did. He just stuck his hand out the window and got a big jab and knocked him out. Yeah, but it scared us, man. That guy jumping out of the trunk of the car, and running up the window and everything. But I thought
Mm,
that was funny because Dickie had them short little jabs he used all the time. Instead of open, big, way back, down south and giving you a punch, he'd have them short little jabs. So, yeah, he knocked
mhm.
that guy smooth out, man.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I tell you what, when I was in Portland, you remember the Ron and Don Harris, the Bruise Brothers?
Yes, sir.
They were up there with me. Well, there was the Bruise Brothers there, their gimmick was, and I used to always tease them because they took so many steroids they had bitch tits. So I'd always call them the bitch tit brothers. And boy, it had pissed them off. They just hated that the passion. So one day, everybody was gone. They said, "Come here, Dougie." And I said, "What?" One of them took one arm by the shoulder. One of them took my other arm and hung me on a coat rack. So I'm sitting, them guys about 6'6". I'm getting for dangling my
Oh
feet.
yeah.
They went ahead and left. Half the guys were gone, and they couldn't hear me in the dressing room holler for somebody to get me down. So eventually my coat ripped, so I fell to the ground. So the
Oh
ribbon was
man.
on after that. I ribbed them everywhere I could from then on out, from them doing that to
Yeah,
me.
I used to call the Harris twins, Brian Lee and Taker. I used to call them trees because every time they
Oh
walk in, they
yeah,
look a bunch of trees. They were so tall.
yeah, they were tall, weren't they?
Mm.
Yeah, before I went to Puerto Rico, when I left Portland, Lenny sent Eric Emery's booking down for USWA. It didn't matter who was booking. Jarrett and Lawler had the last say so over everything. So it didn't matter who was doing the booking as far as talent and storylines. Whatever Jarrett and them like go. But Eric Emery was booking, and he said, "You want to come to this territory and work?" And I said, "Yeah." So got me a plane ticket, and I got me a car. And when I went down there, I remember going down on Saturday morning doing TV at that Studio 5 down there. We did studio TV down there in Memphis.
Yes, sir.
Remember that? Yeah, at those studio
Oh God.
downtown. Yeah. You know, it probably all hold 100 people. I think they gave the tickets away just for it to be a full house for TV, you know.
hmm
But yeah,
And it
that'd
was
be
always early in the morning.
8 o'clock.
It'll
Yeah,
take. Yes, sir.
well, 8 o'clock we do Monday night in Memphis, and then Louisville on Tuesdays, Evansville on Wednesdays, and some spot shows during the week. That way we stay close to Memphis on Friday nights. We run a Mississippi town or something. That way we could get us a motel there in Memphis. Don't have to drive all the way from Nashville to Memphis that morning real early. I did that a
hmm
few times, but then we do TV and then go back into Nashville that night. And the Mid South Coliseum, that was a tell you what, that building's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of the boys
Oh
working
man.
there. There's been a lot of the boys working there, you know. So
Oh
it had a
man.
lot
That.
of it had a lot of history to it too, you know. It was just a good solid building, you know, and they sold it out. I don't know how many hell, but they sold it out quite a few times.
It's amazing how many of the boys have been there at one time or another.
Yeah, I was doing singles competition at the time, and Jarrett said, "You know anybody from Portland wants to come down and be your partner, and we'll put the belts on you." And I said, "Well, Bart Sawyer." I called him, and he said, "Yeah, I'll come down there." Because you
Mm.
get a good learning. Bart Sawyer come down there and they turn him heel because he was a face, put the
Right.
straps on us, and they put the straps on me and Bart. But the thing about him, he wasn't very good at being a heel because he had never been a heel hardly before. So as far as the spots he was calling, he was trying to call babyface spots, and I had to kind of take him under my wing and try to show him what kind of spots to call as the heel. And
Right.
he wouldn't kayfabe. He'd be around. He'd go out and see the kids and the ladies and sign autographs and stuff like that to lose your heat, you know. And I told him, I said, "Kayfabe, brother, you're losing our heat," you know.
Right.
He didn't understand. He was just used to being around the people because he'd been a
you
face for so long.
you know
But
him and Buzz were a lot like Terry and Dory. I mean, they were total opposites.
yeah, I know you're right. Yeah, but Bart had a couple of strokes while he was in Nashville after we split up from there because I wasn't there when he had them, but they did him pretty bad. He had two, and the second one really hurt him. You know, he couldn't use one of his arms or his legs, and they put
Mm.
him in a nursing home, and he got sick, and they put a catheter in him, but he kept pulling that catheter out, and
Oh man.
it got infected, and that's what killed him was that catheter.
Mm.
Just pulling it in and out. His mom called me. I remember when he passed away. But he was a good hand. He knew what he was doing. When he went back to Portland before he got put in a nursing home, and he was working, being Roddy's Piper's associate. That way he'd run him to the gym, take him to the towns, do whatever he needed to do, run and get his drugs for him, his alcohol, and he just he paid him $100 a day to be his personal assistant. So then he take him on the road with him. So when he go work for the WCW, he got Bart a good spot doing enhancement talent there at WCW, and
Mm.
he got to work some of the top guys and everything. So he got a pretty good run in there doing that. Roddy got for him. So and after that, they kind of went their own separate ways and everything. But yeah, they put the
Wow.
straps on us, and we took them from Jarrett and Fuller, Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. We took them from then, and we kind of shot angles with them around the loop, and then there was a new. They was called the New Kids. They was Brian Christopher Lawler's son, and Eric somebody. It wasn't Emery. It was Eric somebody. It's the New Kids. So Lawler stuck them with us because we had more experience trying to get them some experience. So we'd have to work the loop with them most of the time. And Thing about Brian, he was a good hand. He just didn't like to listen.
Mm.
That's what I think happened to him in New York. He probably didn't want to listen to the heels, and he was getting heat that way. So I remember him not. I'd have to stiff him real bad, like he owed me money. That way that he'd come alive and smarten up to pay attention to what was going on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he was a pretty good hand. He looked good, talked good, did a good promo, and we chased him around the loop. And then they brought in. Oh, I forget who they brought in another tag team. The Moondogs was down there. How they split us up was before we got our notice, they had a tag team tournament, the battle royal for the tag team titles. So we got disqualified, which made us drop the belts, and they got put on. The Moondogs come in there, and they took the straps. So it didn't hurt us getting beaten there at all. So they just finished up our booking down there doing gimmick matches with me and Bart. He turned face, and I was still a heel. We was doing strap on the pose matches, strap matches, lumberjack matches, cage match. We do that. We did all the gimmick matches they had down there, and then that's when we finally got our notice, and that's from then I went to Puerto Rico from Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
but Nashville was long road trips, wasn't it?
Yeah. I know we touched on a little bit earlier, but what positives do you see about the business?
Repeat that question again. You're fading in and out. What was it?
And what, in your view, improving?
You're cutting out. I couldn't understand you. I can't see you, brother. I can't see or hear you, brother. Are you there, brother? I can't see or hear you. I'm still doing it. His audio's yeah. His audio he's fading out. I can't hear him or see him now. I can't see or hear you, brother. We're having some technical difficulties now, folks. Bear with us.
Hello, Matt. Are you there?
I can't hear you, brother. I can see you now, but I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you.
Okay. What about? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Testing 1 2. Hello, I'm back, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, I had been having some tech issues on the other end. I do apologize.
I'm here, brother.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I just was on there by myself. You had some technical difficulties there a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's been brutal. Oh gosh, been brutal. I do apologize.
All right, brother.
So, what advice would you give to the younger generation nowadays?
Learn how to kayfabe for one.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, and don't be you don't need to do all that leg slapping when you throw a kick or anything like that too. They do too much of that too. Every match there's that, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez.
Watch each other's matches and see what one did and one didn't do, and the spots they did, not repeat them in your match if their matches before yours. They always don't have the same match, and that's basically about it. Main thing, kayfabe, and get as much experience from the old timers as you can. Take their advice. If somebody wants to help you out with your matches and watch them, take their advice and to what they're telling.
Can you hear the noise? Lift your voice! Yeah! Brady Hicks breaks it down with the master plan. Maestro Rob Kellum, the #1 man. With Kathy Fitz right there taking a stand. This is our nation, all across the land. We are the VOC Nation worldwide.